GLP-1 weight loss drugs like Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, and Zepbound are some of the most popular drugs right now. As a pharmacist and health coach, I speak with people about these drugs regularly, and I have observed that while many are taking them or are considering taking them, few understand how they are working. So I wanted to make a video that easily explains what they are and how they work, along with some considerations to keep in mind. This video is for educational purposes only. It doesn't replace recommendations or guidance from your personal doctor. This video is also not meant to persuade you in any one direction as to take the drugs or to not take the drugs. Instead, this video's purpose is to provide education on a very popular class of medications for the indication of weight loss so that you can be a more informed consumer and to be able to better advocate for your health. So first, let's start off by talking about how the body functions without any GLP-1 drug present. GLP-1 stands for glucagon-like peptide 1, and it's a metabolic hormone that is produced and secreted by intestinal cells, as well as by certain neurons in the brainstem upon food consumption. Another metabolic hormone that doesn't get mentioned as often as GLP-1 is GIP, which stands for glucose-dependent insulinotropic polypeptide, originally referred to as gastric inhibitory peptide, and this also gets produced and secreted upon food consumption. So when you eat food, both GLP-1 and GIP get produced and secreted within your intestines. GLP-1 functions to decrease blood sugar levels by stimulating the pancreas to release more insulin. It inhibits glucagon release from the pancreas, which would have raised blood sugar levels. It slows the rate of gastric emptying, which is how fast food leaves the stomach and enters the small intestine. And it tells the brain that you have eaten enough and to reduce how hungry you are, and what many refer to as food noise. GIP functions similarly by decreasing blood sugar levels by stimulating the pancreas to release more insulin, and it increases feelings of fullness. And it also promotes fat metabolism and storage, and interestingly, it supports bone health as it promotes bone formation and influences bone structure. Now, shortly after these two hormones get secreted, they get inactivated by an enzyme that's abbreviated as DPP4, which stands for dipeptidyl peptidase 4. Once they are inactivated, they can no longer exert their functions. So to summarize, you eat food, GLP-1 and GIP get produced and secreted within your intestines, they exert their functions, and within a few minutes, they get degraded by the enzyme DPP4. This is how your body functions normally in the absence of the medications that we are discussing today. So as you can see, the body is designed to regulate appetite and satiety, blood sugar balance, and fat metabolism and storage. Okay, so now let's talk about how the drugs work. It depends on which drugs that you are talking about. There are multiple GLP-1 medications on the market, but for this video, I am going to just speak on the four most common ones that are being talked about right now, and those are Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, and Zepbound. And no, this video is not sponsored by any pharmaceutical drug company or any other company. Okay, let's continue. Ozempic and Wegovy are brand names for the drug Semaglutide. Ozempic is FDA indicated for the treatment of type 2 diabetes, and if it's used for weight loss, then that's off-label. Whereas Wegovy is FDA indicated to reduce excess body weight and maintain weight reduction long-term. So this right here really confuses people. Both drugs contain semaglutide. They work the same way, but each has a different indication. And that's due to clinical trial data and study participants and what outcomes they were looking for and what was submitted to the FDA for approval and so on and so forth. So don't fall down that rabbit hole. Just know that they are both semaglutide. So semaglutide, which is Ozempic and Wegovy, works as a GLP-1 receptor agonist. What does that mean? It means that the drug is mimicking our own GLP-1 hormone, and it's interacting with our own GLP-1 receptors that are found in various places within our body, including the pancreas, the brain, and our digestive tract. Not really the purpose of this video, but for completion's sake, other organs like the heart, blood vessels, kidneys, lungs, etc. do have GLP-1 receptors too, but that's a different topic for a different video. GLP-1 receptors are protein structures that hang out on certain cells that can interact with our natural GLP-1 hormone. So the drug is mimicking our GLP-1 hormone and interacting at those receptor sites. One of the differences between our natural hormone and the drug mimicking that hormone is how long it produces an effect. If you remember from earlier on in the video, our GLP-1 hormone degrades fairly quickly after it is secreted. Once degraded, it can't exert its effects. The drug, however, is going to be able to interact with those receptors continuously and produce more sustained effects. And that is how it is able to treat type 2 diabetes and chronic weight loss management. To reiterate what GLP-1 does, it decreases blood sugar levels by stimulating the pancreas to release more insulin, and it inhibits glucagon release from the pancreas, which would have raised blood sugar levels. With type 2 diabetes, there is insulin resistance, which is where cells are not responding effectively to the amount of insulin that's present, and blood sugar is higher than what's considered normal. And so even more insulin is needed to manage blood sugar. So that is how the drug is working for type 2 diabetes. And GLP-1 slows the rate of gastric emptying, which is how fast food leaves the stomach and enters the intestines, which increases satiety, and you will not feel as hungry. You will feel more full, which means that you will not eat as much, and it tells your brain that you've eaten enough and to reduce how hungry you are, and what many refer to as food noise, which means that, again, you will feel more full and less hungry. You will not eat as much, and food cravings can also be different or go away. A lot of people that I talk to mention that. So that's how it works for chronic weight loss management. So that's semaglutide, hence Ozempic and Wegovy. Now let's talk Mounjaro and Zepbound. They are similar to Ozempic and Wegovy, but they do have some differences. Mounjaro and Zepbound are the brand names for the drug Tirzepatide. Mounjaro is FDA indicated for the treatment of type 2 diabetes, and if it is used for weight loss, then that is off-label. And Zepbound is FDA indicated for chronic weight loss management. Tirzepatide, which is Mounjaro, and Zepbound works as a dual agonist for the GLP-1 and the GIP receptors. So it mimics both metabolic hormones that I mentioned earlier on in this video that get produced and secreted upon food consumption. So all the same functions of GLP-1 that we just talked about apply here, and you also get more sustained effects of GIP, which is stimulating the pancreas to release more insulin, promoting fat metabolism and storage, and increasing feelings of fullness. So because of this, Tirzepatide may be more effective for weight loss because it's mimicking two hormones and not just one. In trials, Tirzepatide demonstrated superior weight loss of approximately 15 to 20% compared to Semaglutide of approximately 10 to 15% over a 72-week time frame. However, both of these points can vary among individuals. Okay, so that's how the drugs work, and now we're going to move into some considerations to meditate on. If you are not currently taking one of these medications and you're considering it, or even if you are taking one already, then you need to think about your weight loss goals alongside potential side effects, adverse reactions, laboratory monitoring, pre-existing conditions, family medical history, timeline, and cost. There are pros and cons to each situation, to take the drug or to not take the drug. So I believe it's important to know this information so that you can make a well-informed decision. I'm not going to go into that information in this particular video, but I did want to mention it so that you know to include these topics in your conversations with your doctor. If you'd like me to discuss more on these drugs in those areas, then please leave your questions in the comments below. The next consideration that we're going to talk about in this video to meditate on is essentially just like a question that I ask myself. You might be asking yourself this question right now, which is, if the body is designed to regulate these processes on its own, then why would medications be needed? And it's a great question. And one of the reasons comes down to habits and our environment. If you want to maintain a healthy body weight in the absence of medications, then it is very important to prioritize healthy habits like sleep, movement, eating real foods, supporting hormonal balance, and managing stress daily, all of which is hard to do in the world that we live in today. However, not impossible. The issue is that the environment in which we live in does not make it easy to automatically choose healthy choices. So things like fast food, food commercials, ultra-processed foods for convenience, sitting down for most of the day, not getting enough sleep, being stressed, not knowing helpful coping skills, and using products filled with endocrine disruptors are all things that are shaping what choices we make on a daily basis and our health. Now listen closely, if we allow them to. If you do not choose how you spend your time, energy, and money each day, then someone else will gladly do it for you. And that is just a hard truth of life in any area of your life. Living a healthy lifestyle where you are sleeping 7 to 8 hours a night, eating home-cooked real foods as much as possible, moving your body throughout the day, doing healthy things that manage stress like mindfulness, prayer, diffusing essential oils, exercising, journaling, listening to music, reading a book, and spending time with friends and family, and even living a low-tox lifestyle, these things are not automatically going to happen. If you want them to happen, then you need to be intentional and proactive about including them in your day every day. Otherwise, it is very easy to talk yourself out of exercising, out of cooking meals and snacks at home, out of going to bed early. And it's easy to cope with stress by turning to alcohol, drugs, and social media in order to numb emotional pain and discomfort. That might sound really blunt, but sometimes we need some hard love. And what I want you to realize is that you have more power and control over your health than you think you do. And you shouldn't underestimate the power of daily healthy habits and how our environment is set up for you to choose the unhealthy things that increase your chances of gaining weight. None of that is your fault. And now you know that you can be more mindful about choosing things that will nourish your body and allow you to maintain a healthy body weight that's right for you. And not everybody is meant to be a size 0 or a size 2, and that's okay. Another thing to consider when it comes to weight loss and weight gain is to review your medications with your doctor and or a pharmacist to see if you are taking other medications and or other supplements for that matter that can promote weight gain. Common medications that may cause weight gain include, but are not limited to, certain mental health medications, steroids, certain diabetes medications, and birth control. You also may want to speak with your doctor about your hormone health, including, but not limited to, your thyroid, your adrenals, and your sex hormones. Weight can very much be influenced by our hormones. Okay, so we talked about ways to maintain body weight in the absence of medications, as well as potential causes of weight gain like medications and hormones. Now, another thing to consider is, let's say that you are already taking a GLP-1 or a GLP-1 GIP medication and you are losing weight, you're reaching goals, and you're feeling so much better. That's fantastic, and I'm so happy for you. Perhaps that's what you needed to jumpstart your weight loss and to start building momentum. Awesome. Now, the consideration, though, that I want you to meditate on is, am I achieving this goal body weight solely from the medication or because of the medication and the healthy habits that I have now built? For example, all those healthy habits that we just talked about. Now, the reason that I say this is because if you were to ever stop the medicine, whether that be because of cost, side effects, an adverse reaction, you become pregnant and then breastfeed, or perhaps you reached your goal weight and you and your doctor decided to either cut down on the dose or the two of you decided to just stop it altogether. And if you don't have healthy habits set up, then that weight loss that you spent time, money, and energy on is very likely to come back. That's why many say to me that they are afraid to stop the medicine. And currently, there isn't a recommendation to stop the medication, as just in general, the medical community is talking about obesity as a chronic health condition. And just like you wouldn't stop a medicine that's controlling someone's blood pressure, you wouldn't stop a medicine that is helping somebody with weight management. So that right there is another thing to consider, timeline, expectations of how long you're going to take the drug. And that's another conversation that you can have with your doctor. Okay, so if you decide to take one of these medications or you're already taking one of them, then I recommend that you prioritize healthy habits to aid your weight loss efforts in addition to taking the medication. Additionally, there are numerous benefits to engaging in healthy habits that are unrelated to weight loss. For example, alleviating depression and anxiety, building community, preventing nutrient deficiencies so that your body can function optimally in all ways, supporting bone health and decreasing fracture risk as you age, building confidence, having more energy, and even building muscle. Taking care of your muscles is another important consideration while taking one of these medications, because it has been reported that approximately 20 to 40% of the weight that you lose while taking one of these medicines is lost lean muscle mass rather than fat mass. This is due to losing weight so quickly and not eating enough protein because your appetite is suppressed. So it is important to prioritize consumption of healthy protein, real food sources, and not just getting protein from protein shakes and bars. And you have to watch out for the ingredients that are in those. Protein shakes and bars can be part of a healthy regimen, but many do contain unhealthy ingredients, and it's not healthy to rely solely on them for your daily nutrient intake. And it's also important to prioritize performing resistance training exercises, because both of these will help you support your muscle health. It will help you take care of your muscles regardless of whether or not you take the medicine. Another reason why muscle health is so important, especially when we're talking about weight loss, is because muscle is highly metabolically active tissue and it burns more calories at rest than fat tissue. What does that mean? It means that even when you are at rest and not moving, you are still burning calories. So if you want to support a high metabolism, then you need to support your muscles. All right, that was a lot of information and it can definitely feel overwhelming. So if you feel overwhelmed right now, that is okay. Please feel free to watch this video back as many times as you'd like and take notes. And if you know somebody who is curious about these medications and wants to know more about how they work, then definitely send this video over to them. If you are a recipient of this video being shared to you, or you just happen to click on it yourself, I hope that you leave this video with a greater understanding of these medications, how your body functions, and also that whether or not you take one of these medications, daily habits are always going to matter. If you would like help with this, then make sure that you are subscribed to my channel. I share videos to help you improve your health in a holistic, sustainable way through real food, simple habits, and low-tox living. And if any of that piques your interest, then I know you are going to love my last video, which shares on the top foods to naturally boost your GLP-1 levels. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, your health is your greatest investment and you are worth taking care of yourself. Advocate for yourself and do what's right for you. There is no right or wrong path as you pursue weight loss and weight management. There's only what's right for you. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you in my next video.